Welcome, dear students, and here we are with our lesson that we have been studying, the 100 races one. So, I'll repeat the things again that we have studied. Firstly, we studied about the way people judge one another, and we realized that we should not just the people judge the people just by their money, wealth, and possessions, but we should judge the people with their qualities, more enduring value that we can look for in a person, and then we can say the person is of this kind or that. And here in this text, we are studying, about a poor young girl who was judged by her classmate, and her name is Wanda Petronsky. She is a police girl, and she is studying in American school with American children. It is one of the American towns, and which other children see Wanda as a different. In what way and how they treat her, you know, well, and we are studying it. So it was given firstly about the Polish American community in the United States, so that we can understand Wanda well, and I'm sure that we have understood her well. And it was the very first day that after a holiday, that was Sunday, the children from room number 13 did not notice that Wanda was not there in her place in one of the corners in classroom. Second day passed, it was Tuesday, nobody noticed. But on the third day, it was Wednesday, Peggy and Maddie noticed that she was not there. You know why? Because they say that they had waited and waited for her longer, and so Wanda had made them late to school. And then we were done with the oral comprehension text. We understood those parts, how it happened, who was Wanda, what was they, and what do we mean by phrase to have fun with her, and all. Then we know that in the same classroom, she was the only girl who had different name. There was one, Willie Bounce, but they found it not much funny that they could find Wanda Patronsky, a name that was strange for them. Then that Wanda had no friends, even if there were many girls, they were talking to her, but she had in fact no friends. And you can see here in the picture the way those girls were talking to her, she being very quiet and answering their questions. And what were the questions? Wanda, what did you say? How many dresses you have? And she used to say very politely, being very calm and quiet, that 100 dresses she had. And that way they were trying to play game with her, and they were having fun this way. And later they started asking about how many shoes did you say you had? And every time being very quiet and confident about her answer, she used to say 60 pairs all lined up in my closet without losing herself and her confidence. She was answering them being very bold and very well. And so they could not cross their limits, and finally they themselves used to go away from her and see her own way. But there we come to know about Maddie, that Maddie was a kind of girl like Wanda only, the poor one from middle class family. But Peggy was from little rich family, and she was also a very intelligent, bright student in her class, and she never believed that she was doing something wrong or that kind of bullying and all with Wanda. And so when if one had called him as a cruel, he would be surprised because she knew that Wanda just wears a cloth every day, and she says that she has 100 dresses. She is a liar. And asking her the same questions in a very healthy way, she finds that she was not being at all a cruel. But Mary, she used to think of this incident again and again, and it was little bothering her. And sometimes when Peggy was asking Wanda those questions in that mocking polite voice, Maddie felt embarrassed and studied the marbles in the palm of her hand, rolling them around and saying nothing herself. And I think here we were yesterday to continue with. Right, dear students? Hello, page number 67. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's see then what happens. Sometimes when Peggy was asking Wanda those questions in that mocking polite voice, it was not in fact a polite nor any respectful way, but she used to pretend as if she respects her very much. Like it is mentioned that Mason, Miss Mason or like that. And that time Maddie felt embarrassed and she did not like that Peggy was always asking her that kinds of questions and trouble. And so just to avoid her own attention from that, she used to, roll the marbles in her hand, in her palm, and she could say nothing because she never wanted that she should lose Peggy as her close friend. Not that she felt sorry for Wanda, exactly. She would never have paid any attention to Wanda if Peggy had not invented the dresses game. And if Peggy was not there, if all alone Maddie was there in the class, she could never have troubled Wanda. Nor she could have noticed Wanda and her name little different. But it is just because of Peggy that she had been the part of that game of asking the questions again and again and troubling Wanda. But suppose Peggy and all the others started in on her next. She wasn't as poor as Wanda, perhaps, but she was poor. And she was also not that kind of a girl like Wanda that she could tolerate and answer them this way. She could go and take some other step if this Peggy and some other girls could start playing the same game with with Maddie because she never wanted that one should behave and treat others like this way. And so she wanted to oppose Peggy, but she couldn't. Then did she? Let's see. She wasn't as poor as Wanda, perhaps, but she was poor, of course. She could have more sense than to say she had 100 dresses. Still, she would not like for them to begin on her. She wished Peggy would stop teasing Wanda patronishly. And there, she's just there, feeling herself guilty to witness that incident, that one girl being harassed, asking the same and same question again and again, but she is there bearing them all and answering the same answers again and again without any hesitation, but being very confident that she had 100 dresses. But what about Maddie? Would she say the 100 dresses? No. She could find some other way to answer them back so that they should never dare to ask the same question again to her. But she was poor, but not poor that way as Wanda is. She is poor as Wanda is because as Wanda had a single dress, Maggie also had some dresses, but they are all given by others. She could not buy them all herself. That way she is poor, but as far as the way she is bearing, as Wanda tolerates, Maddie could never tolerate. And so she wished that Peggy and other girls should stop teasing Wanda patronally, asking those questions again and again. Dear students, as I told yesterday in Marathi, I am telling you, अन्याय करणारा पेक्षा अन्याय सहन करणारा जास्त गुन्हेगार असतो. It means that the person who bears, the bearer of injustice is more criminal than the doer of the justice. But the spectator of the justice is more than both of them. I can say that the person who does injustice is bad. The person who bears the injustice is worse. And the person who witness the injustice is the worst. You know why, dear students? Because who is the doer? He is doing because he finds it easy to do. The person who bears may be helpless, can't do anything than bearing it. But the spectator, he can do something, he can mediate, he can interrupt, he can meddle and find some solution, but he doesn't. And so I'm calling the person who does injustice is bad, the one who hears is worse, but the spectator, the witness, is the worst. Do you agree? Am I right?
Yes, sir.
What about others?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Or
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
okay, good.
Yes,
Now
sir.
let's see your comprehension by asking you the questions. You tell me orally, don't type in the chat box. Simple question number one. In what way was Wanda different from the other children? Come on, anybody? In what way was Wanda different from the other children?
The first way in which Wanda was different from other children was a strange name that was Wanda Petronsky, and she had a strange name other than the children in the class, and she always used to wear a same dress every day,
Good.
blue faded dress.
And used to never say anything, a word also, apart from if one asks her question, she used to answer. That's it. And was sitting in a corner. In this or that way, she was very different from others, we can say. Good. Here I think Ayush Shalomke has answered that Wanda was different from other children. She did not have any friends. She came to school alone and went home alone. Unlike other children, she did not talk to anybody or had different dresses to wear. Very good. Right answer. Now next question
Also, she
is,
was Polish among other Americans.
yes, that is very important thing. That is the thing. In fact, the basic thing that made her different from others, that the rest of the children from the class were American and she was the one who was Polish. Good. Thank you, Kushi. Second question. Did Wanda have 100 dresses? Why do you think she said she did? Come on,
No,
answer this.
Wanda do not have 100 dresses.
Wanda did not have. Achal, continue. Achal, you please continue.
No, she did not have 100 dresses because she was poor and wore the same faded dresses in the school every day.
Very good.
She had an
Then why?
in order to hide the complex and impress the other girls, she always said that she had 100 dresses.
Yes. She very confidently used to say that yes, she had 100 dresses all lined up. Good. Anybody, any other answer? No? Okay. Third question. Why is Maddie embarrassed by the questions Peggy asked Wanda? Is she also like Wanda or is she different? Hurry up. Why is Maddie embarrassed by the questions Peggy asked Wanda? Is she also like Wanda or is she different? Come on.
Maddie is embarrassed by the questions Peggy asks Wanda because she is also poor but not as poor as Wanda. And she feels that Peggy is just teasing her, and she
Peggy is the real cause because of whom they were all playing that game with Wanda, and so she blames Peggy, and she is, embarrassed, because she did not like that she should do that, but she is the part of that because of Peggy, and so she was embarrassed or she is embarrassed by the questions Peggy asked Wanda. Is she also like Wanda? Yes, she is like Wanda from the way she is poor, having no clothes. And she wears the clothes different, but they are all given by somebody else. And also, yes, she is different. In what way? That she cannot, as Wanda tolerates others, she can't tolerate. She will answer not saying that she had 100 dresses, but she could find another way to answer them back so that no one should dare to trouble her asking the question again. Right? Kushik Grover, right here? Or we have some another answer? Anybody else? Any answer? Are you all satisfied with that? Will you be able
Yes,
to
sir.
write?
Yes,
Fine. Good. Now let's begin with the next part. That is page number 67, just below the oral comprehension text. Today, even though they had been led to school, Manny was glad he had not had to make fun of Wanda. She worked her arithmetic problems absent-mindedly, 8 times 8, let's see. She wished she had the nerve to write Peggy a note because she knew she never would have the courage to speak right out to Peggy, to say, "Hey Peg, let's stop asking Wanda how many dresses she has." When she finished her arithmetic, she did start a note to Peggy. Suddenly she paused and shuddered. She pictured herself in the schoolyard and a new target for Peggy and the girls. Peggy might ask her where she got the dresses that she had on, and Maddie would have to say it was one of Peggy's old ones that Maddie's mother had tried to dismiss with. And here, another day, when they were all there in school, and as usual, they were led to school, Maddie was happy that day. You know why? Because she knew that Wanda was not there in school, and so Peggy can't make fun of her because she was absent. And how could she make fun? No. But Maddie was thinking in her mind that she should write a note to Peggy saying that, "Hey Peg, let's stop asking Wanda how many dresses she has." Means, in short, we can say Maddie wanted to tell Peggy that she should stop doing that, not to trouble her, even if he comes or even if she joins us back in our school. But she could not dare. And she firstly focused on arithmetic problems, that 8 times 8, like that. And after she did with that, she just started a note to be written to Peggy. But before writing, she remembers that incident, that another target, Miss Wanda, comes, Peggy and other girls, joins and surrounds her and starts asking another question now. And what question does Magic think here that they will ask? Where did she buy those dresses, or where did she get those dresses she had on? And she could also imagine that Maddie would have to say it was one of Peggy's old ones that Maddie's mother had tried to replace with new trimming so no one in room 13 would recognize it. And there she thinks that she would again answer this some other way, that nobody will try to track the place where she had got it. And that way, she's just trying to imagine that she wants to write a note to Peggy to stop troubling Wanda, but she could not. And the reason that she was about to write a note was that she could not speak to her directly because she was scared, she was afraid if she could lose her friendship, and that she did not want. And here at the end of this paragraph, dear students, do you think that Mary could write a note to Peggy or not? Yes or no?
No, sir. No.
No, she could not dare to write. She could not dare to speak. She could not dare to write also. She is afraid. And she is just thinking, but could not implement her own ideas on ground. What was the reason? Let's see. And did it continue the same way? We will find here. If only Peggy would decide of her own accord to stop having fun with Wanda, oh well. Maddie ran her hand through her short brown hair as though to push the uncomfortable thoughts away. And this, like this, thinking, trying to write a note after doing arithmetic, those things come to her mind that, Maddie, no, Peggy is there with her, with some girls and trying to trouble her, asking questions where you got it. She is also answering them all confidently, and she is little worried. And just from her here, she uh, ran her hand through and just to get out of those uncomfortable thoughts because she is uncomfortable with those feelings that Maddie being there with Peggy and some other. Only Peggy can stop it doing herself. And she wished that Peggy should stop it. But did Peggy? Let's see. What difference did it make? Slowly Maddie tore into bits the note she had started. She was Peggy's best friend, and Peggy was the best liked girl in the whole room. Peggy could not possibly do anything that was really wrong, she thought. And finally, just running her hand through the mirrors, she saw that note that she was about to write and save it down. And now you think she must have thrown it in a dustbin. She should also not scatter the things here and there. And that way, she is feeling that Peggy is right and Peggy can't do anything wrong. And of course, she did not want to lose Peggy because Peggy was the most liked girl, the best liked girl in the whole room, number 13. And Maddie herself was best friend of Peggy. And in the end, you can see here is the paragraph that she says and thinks that Peggy could not possibly do anything that was really wrong. And so she believes herself now that whatever Peggy does is right. But is it so, dear students? If any person, dear students, always remember, the best person can also do the worst thing, and the worst person can also do the best thing. And here I would like to draw your attention that your today's friend, you should not share the things that you cannot share with your enemy, not even with your best friend. Because today's best friend may change tomorrow as your worst enemy. And you should also not treat your worst enemy that you will never treat your best friend. Because that worst enemy may tomorrow be your best friend. I don't know if you have understood, but this is a fact in our practical life. So nobody is good and nobody is bad. It decides the time that what act you do is worth good or worth bad. For example, a man with a knife in his hand, you have noticed. But if he is a gun or a gunda kind of person and trying to do the crime, trying to kill a person, he is wrong. But another person with a knife in his hand is a doctor by profession and is trying to operate the person in order to cure the person's wound. Isn't it? We find them both having a knife in their hands. So we call them as God red-handed. But it depends now in what circumstances they are and what their intention is. Fine. We will not go much in depth of that. I'm sure that you have now matured enough to understand everything. And you can also understand these things very well yourself. Am I right, dear student? Do you think I need to elaborate anything else?
No,
Good.
sir.
Very good.
No, sir.
And many students are there. Fine. So you got the feelings of Maddie and also Peggy, what she was doing and how she was feeling herself firstly guilty, but later she herself now started believing that Peggy was right. This is called something, when a false thing is told again and again, 100 times, we find it as true. It's a human nature. Again and again, if somebody is saying that he is wrong, even if he is good, but we are always calling him or her as wrong, or something is not the truth, but we are calling it as the truth. Our human body and the mindset is like that. The things we are hearing again and again without understanding, or just we are hearing and believing, we also find that yes, it is true. So being in the company of Peggy and believing that she does everything good, here also, firstly, Maddie thought that Peggy was wrong, troubling Wanda, but later she believed that no, Peggy is not wrong, she must be right, and she is doing nothing wrong. Then what was the impact and how the incident later continued, here we will see. As for Wanda, she was just...
Sir, your voice is breaking a lot.
Is it okay now? Gauri Kadkare,
Yes.
Gauri Pargavkar, am I audible now? Well,
Yes, sir.
okay, good. Let's see.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So as for Wanda, she was just some girl who lived up on Bogans Heights and stood alone in the schoolyard. She scarcely ever said anything to anybody. The only time she talked was in the schoolyard about her 100 dresses. Maddie remembered her telling about one of her dresses, pale blue with color trimming, and she remembered another that was brilliant jungle green with a red sash. You would look like a Christmas tree in that, the girls had said in the pretended admiration. And dear students, here now, again, the author has tried to describe more the main character here, Wanda. And what is described here? That she could never speak, how she was inside the classroom. And now let's see how she is outside the classroom. So we know that she is from
Sir, your
Bogans
voice
Heights.
is breaking.
Is it okay now, dear students? What's wrong?
Yes, sir. It's okay.
It's okay, sir.
Okay? So we know that she was from Bogans Heights, she was being all alone, was saying nothing to anybody, she was speaking nobody anything. And there only once she could speak to the girls in the schoolyard, being all alone, and was asked about the dresses. Then she used to answer that she had 100 dresses. And one more incident Maddie remembered when Wanda was explaining her dresses that she had one that was pale blue with color trimming, and she also remembered another that was a brilliant jungle green with a red sash. And then the girls had told her with pretended admiration, as if they praised her, but they did not want that you would just look like a Christmas tree in that dress. Which dress? A brilliant jungle green with a red sash. And that kind of a dress, if you put on, you would just look like a Christmas tree, and that way they admire. Here, Maddie said, but they admired in the sense they just pretended that they admired. Otherwise, they were not at all interested in admiring her because they knew that she was lying. She was not telling the truth. In fact, the truth was she had no dresses, and that was the reason that she was wearing every day the same dress. Right? Getting this, students?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes.
now next paragraph, let's see. Thinking about Wanda and her 100 dresses all lined up in the closet, Maddie began to wonder who was going to win the drawing and coloring contest. And that time, she is all alone. Dear students, we should also keep ourselves alone sometimes. We should introspect. I think our honorable principal ma'am just yesterday gave you some four mantras: read, write, do, and reflect. So the last one, reflection, that is introspection. Introspect yourself. Be alone sometimes and think. Automatically, when you are alone now, all alone, you will start thinking about some incidents in your life. And your body posture also helps you in that. So specifically, there are some postures you can also follow one or two that you are comfortable with. What do you think? Firstly, introspect yourself. Every day you practice it. Before you go to bed, you just remember everything in a day that you did or happened after you got up in the morning. It will definitely help you recollecting. It also helps us improving our memory skill. What you do in your examination, whatever you have studied, whatever you have done, whatever you have understood, whatever you have watched in the videos, whatever you have learned from the teachers in their explanation, that's what you are going to remember in the examination and write. So that skill, if you are habitual of doing, especially before going to bed, you please do it. And as and when, as per your convenience, you can do. And it helps us understand ourselves. If possible, you can start maintaining the diary also as handwriting. Do you agree, dear students? Yes or no? And here, Maddie, being all alone, if she was in the crowd with number of girls around her, do you think she could think so much? Do you think she could realize this thing that she is sharing with us? Yes or no?
No.
No, sir.
Absolutely. And so, after now thinking everything about Maddie, she is now remembering one thing all of a sudden. And what was it? Drawing and coloring contest. and she is now eager to know about it. And what she says and describes about it, let's see. For girls, this contest consisted of designing dresses, and for boys, of designing motorboats. Probably Peggy would win the girls' medal. Peggy drew better than anyone else in the room. At least that's what everybody thought. She could copy a picture in a magazine or some film star's head so that you could almost tell who it was. Oh, Maddie was sure Peggy would win. Well, tomorrow the teacher was going to announce the winner. Then they would know. And here, when she remembered that contest of the drawing and coloring, she remembers that last time Peggy might have won it, and every time Peggy was there everywhere, winning the medals and all. And here the topic was given of designing dresses for girls and designing motorboats for boys. And as far as designing and drawing is concerned, according to others and also Maddie, that Peggy was better than everyone or anyone in the classroom. And what Peggy used to do, she could simply copy a picture from a magazine or some film star's head so that anybody could, notice and understand that yes, this is what she has drawn. For example, if there is a French type beard drawn with some hairs, with some tall height of a kind, a slim body person with some white colored beard, who is he? Can you guess?
Amitabh Bachchan.
Yes, so simple. So if I'm not good at drawing, but just simply drawing something that is all associated with a famous personality like Amitabh Bachchan, one could easily understand, and that's what Peggy used to do. So do you think Peggy was really good at drawing? Yes or no? She never drew good pictures, something innovative, creative. She simply used to copy some pictures from the magazine, given in the magazine or from some film star's head, so that anybody could easily notice it. So from this, what do you understand? She was very good at drawing
No.
or not?
No, sir.
Yes,
No,
also
she was
no.
not good at drawing.
But everybody believed that she would win this contest of designing dresses. Let's see. She also says here, Maddie, that don't know now who is going to win. Let the teacher announce the names tomorrow of the winners, and then we will come to know. Okay, so they are waiting for the teacher to announce the name. Do you also win? Do you also want to win? Or do you want to know who was the winner? I know that you already know who was the winner and what happened. But let's try to finish with this page, and then we will end this session for this time, and we'll continue at home. So the next day it was drizzling. Maddie and Peggy hurried to school under Peggy's umbrella. Naturally, on a day like this, they did not wait for Wanda Patronsky on the corner of Oliver Street, the street that far, far away under the railroad tracks and up the hill led to Bowling Heights. Anyway, they were not taking chances on being late today because today was important. And the next day, we can't say this is either Thursday or Friday, or we can simply guess that it may be on Wednesday she remembered that she was not there. Thursday they did not wait. It may be Friday. Okay, you please tell me later what day it may be. You may not be asked such kinds of questions, but just for our understanding and our guesses, I'm asking. They did not wait that day for Wanda because they had already waited for previous some days after they noticed that she was not coming to school. But especially this day, they did not wait for her. And simply, even if it was drizzling, it was raining, a very light rain that was falling, they simply went to school hurriedly under the Peggy's umbrella. Peggy's umbrella, because Maddie could not afford an umbrella. So we can understand here again that Peggy was from little well-off family. And there, the street has been mentioned where at the corner they used to wait for her. It is Oliver Street. That was again crossing the way under the railroad track that was leading towards the Bowling Heights, where Wanda used to live. But that day they did not want to take any chance being late. You know why? That was the important day. Why was the day important? Anybody? And so they did not want to take a chance to be
The
late.
Teacher would announce
Because
the
the
results.
teacher was going
Yes.
to announce the names of the child who have won.
Very good, Ayush. Very good. And Anil and many students, they have tried to answer here, and I think everybody knows this answer. Right? So that's it for this session, dear students. Any more queries, any doubts? Want to share something?
No, sir.
No,
Okay.
sir.
Bye. Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you, sir. Bye,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Bye, sir.
Bye, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir. Bye, sir.
Thank you, sir. Bye, sir.
Bye, sir.
Bye.
Hi, sir. Thank